The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hi children, we learned about gratitude and humility, that many people had a hand in our success, from teachers who inspired us to the janitors who kept our school clean. We were taught to value everyone's contribution and treat everyone with respect. My dear children, we must find positivity in the bleakest situations and live by the principle of gratitude. By saying this, I move on to the next session where we are going to learn about the morphological structure of a plant, and we can see what is there in the morphology of the plant. So my dear children, chapter 3, morphology of flowering plants. What do you mean by morphology? Morphology is the branch of biology which deals with the study of external features of the plant. So what is morphology? Morphology means it is the study of external features of plants. And we know that flowering plants are there. They are collectively called angiosperms. Now in the flowering plants there are parts. The parts are the root system and the shoot system. So first we are going to study about the root, or we can say the root system. Root, we know what is root. Root is the known green underground part of the plant. Already we know about a plant. Plant is having a root, stem, leaves, flowers, isn't it? In the case of root, it has been said it is known green underground part of the plant. And next thing you can see, it is positively geotropic. That means it is moving towards the gravity. That is why it is positively geotropic. Now after germination of seed, the first root which arises from the radicle of the embryo is called the primary root. So what is primary root? It is the root which is arising from the radicle of the embryo. We know that embryo is seen in the seed, and in the embryo the radicle and the plumule is present there. Plumule will be giving rise to the stem and radicle is giving rise to the root. So the first root which is arising from the radicle is called primary root. There are three types of root system: tap root system, fibrous root system and adventitious root system. The first one is tap root system. The primary root and its branches constitute the tap root system. So what is tap root system? The primary root, that is the first root which is arising from the radicle of the embryo, and its branches forms the tap root system. The main root is called tap root or the primary root. That means the main root, that is, already we know that the main root is the primary root. So this primary root is called the tap root. I think you would have understood about it. Now next thing, tap root develops numerous lateral branches called lateral roots. So what tap root is doing? it is again producing numerous lateral branches, that is on its lateral sides branches will be produced there, and those branches which are developed in the root is called lateral roots. Now, it is a characteristic of dicot plant. Dicot means the plant which is having two cotyledon, or we can say two outer layer, that is called dicot plant, and taproot is the example, or it is a characteristic feature of dicot plant. Here example is given there: mustard plant, tulsi plant, etc. You can see here, isn't it? This is the taproot, this is the main root, and here itself you can see this is the main root which is been highlighted there. This main root is the taproot, and laterally arranged branches are there which are secondary taproot as well as tertiary, isn't it, or they are called lateral roots. So, this is the main branch which is called the primary root, that is also called taproot. Now, next thing you can see about the fibrous root system. The primary roots dies off early. In this case, in the fibrous root system, we can say that in them primary roots will be produced, but they will be short lived. They are not seen throughout the life of the plant. Numerous hair like root arises from the base of the stem. So, from the plant stem there will be numerous hair like root arising, and that is called fibrous root, and it is a characteristics of monocot plant. Monocot means having single cotyledon or one layer, protective layer, and that is called monocot. Example: wheat plant, grasses, etc. Here you can see this is fibrous. Here you cannot see the primary root. This is fibrous. From the stem itself the numerous hair like roots are arising. This is called fibrous root, isn't it? Here you can see no primary root we can see here, only the hair like structure is present here. This is called fibrous root. I think you would have understood the difference between fibrous root and the taproot. The third one is adventitious root system. These roots arises from any part of the plant other than the radicle. We know that from the radicle roots are arising, but in the case of adventitious root system, what is happening? Other than the radicle, the root will be arising from any other part, isn't it? Maybe from the stem. Such type of root which is arising from the other part of the plant other than radicle is called adventitious root system. Example: banyan tree. You can see here correct example. This is the adventitious root system, not from the radicle of the root, but from the stem the roots are produced. Such type of roots are called adventitious root system. I think you would have understood the difference between taproot system, fibrous root system as well as adventitious root system. Now, we can see what are the functions of root system. To anchor the plant in the soil, or we can say to fix the plant in the soil. Number 2, to absorb water and mineral. Number 3, it synthesizes plant growth regulators. We know about plant growth regulators as we studied in our 10th standard related to auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, isn't it? Those plant growth regulators are synthesized in the root also, isn't it? Some roots get modified to perform special functions such as respiration, mechanical support, storage of food, etc. In certain plants, the roots may be getting modified for performing specialized functions such as respiration, storage of food, mechanical support, etc. Now, we can see the structure of root or the regions present in the root, which is very, very important. In the case of regions in the root, root cap, meristematic region, region of elongation, region of maturation, isn't it, my dear children? These are the 4 regions which are present there. The first one is root cap, which is also called calyptra. The tip of the root is protected by a thimble-like structure called root cap. Here you can see this is the tip, and this tip is being protected by a thimble-like structure. This is a thimble-like structure, and that is called root cap, and it protects the tender root apex, that is the tip of the root apex, or we can say the tip of the root is very sensitive, and it has been protected with the help of root cap, which is also called calyptra. I think you would have understood about it. This is the region of, that is root cap, and here you can see, after that you can see this is the region of meristematic activity. Above to it is the region of elongation, and above to is the region of maturation. You can see the structure of root. Now, in aquatic plants, the root cap appears like a loose sheet called root pockets. In case of aquatic plants, the root cap, it is seen in the form of a root pocket, not in the form of a root cap. Example is Pistia acornia. This is Pistia and this is acornia. In these plants, they are the aquatic plants, and in these plants we can see the root pockets instead of root cap. They are having minute pockets in them, and that is called root pockets. Okay. This is the example of root pockets in the case of aquatic plants. In case of terrestrial plants, we can see root cap or calyptra. Next one is related to the meristematic region. The cell of this region are very small, thin walled and with dense cytoplasm. In the case of meristematic region, already I have shown you the structure of root. This is the region of meristematic activity, that is above the root cap. You can see this area is the region of meristematic activity, where we can find the cells very small, thin walled and with dense cytoplasm. And in this meristematic region, the cells will be dividing repeatedly, that is there is a continuous division of cell, as this region is called as meristematic. That is, it is a region of activity, or we can say the active region present in the root. Next is the region of elongation. It is above the region of cell division. The cell of this region undergo rapid elongation and enlargement. That is why it is called region of elongation, isn't it? It is seen above the meristematic region, and here the cells, they will be undergoing elongation and enlargement. As the cell divides, surely they will be moving to the next process, that is elongation as well as enlargement. And the fourth one is region of maturation. The cells of this region undergo maturation and differentiation. After elongation and enlargement, what will happen? The cells will be undergoing maturation. As maturation means they will be maturing, and later on they will be dividing into tissues, and a group of cells, they will be performing their own function, that is called differentiation. So, these are the four regions present in the root, that is root cap, we can say calyptra, then region of meristematic zone, then the region of elongation, and next is the region of maturation, isn't it? Next one, we can see in the case of region of maturation, root hairs develop in this region which absorbs water and mineral from the soil. In this region, what is developed there? Root hair is developed there. In this region, you can see these are the root hairs, isn't it? First is root cap, number 2 is region of meristematic activity, where cells are dividing continuously, and later on the region of elongation, that is here you can see enlargement of the cell is taking place. That is why there is an increase in the length of the root, and then later on we can see here region of maturation, isn't it? Here you can see this root hairs in the case of region of maturation. I think you would have understood about the regions of root, that structure as well as the 4 regions of root are very important. It used to come in the question paper, so you have to study it. Next one is related to the modifications of root. Already in the function we have seen that roots are modified for certain specific functions such as respiration, storage of food, isn't it, mechanical support. So, now we are going to understand about modifications of root. Modifications of roots for storage. Taproot and adventitious roots are modified to store reserve food materials. So, we can say that taproot as well as adventitious roots, they are there to store reserve food materials. Here what happens, root becomes fleshy, swollen and form root tubers. The root will be becoming fleshy as well as it will be getting swollen as well as it becomes root tuber. Now we can see based on shapes, root tubers are classified as taproot tubers. Root tubers, they will be classified based on their shape. Taproot tubers, in that number 1, conical roots. Example, carrot. We know carrot is in the form of conical shape, therefore it is known as conical roots. So, in the case of taproot tubers, conical root is one of the root. Number 2 is napiform roots. Example is beetroot, turnip. You can see the structure of beetroot, isn't it? The tip is very pointed, but the above part is swollen. That's why the shape, because of the shape, the name came as napiform. And the third one is fusiform root. Example, radish. You can see the structure of fusiform root. This is the shape of the radish. That from this shape the name came as fusiform. And the fourth one is tuberous root. Example, 4 o'clock plant, that is Mirabilis jalapa is the botanical name of 4 o'clock plant. Dahlia is another plant of tuberous root. Here you can see this is the structure of Dahlia root, where you can see the structure tuberous in the form of tuber. You can see here the root of Dahlia or 4 o'clock plant. Therefore, it is known as tuberous roots. So, this is the types of roots we can see in the case of taproot tubers. This example as well as the types of root is very, very important. You have to study it, my dear children. Next one is related to adventitious root tubers. Tuberous root, here also tuberous root is there. Example is sweet potato. You can see here tuberous in the form of tuber. It is seen that's why the name came as tuberous. Next one is fasciculated root. Example is tapioca, aspergillus, etc. You can see tapioca, isn't it? It is known as fasciculated root. The shape, from the shape the name came. And the next one is related to monoliform root or beaded root. An example is bitter gourd. In the case of bitter gourd, we can see the beaded roots. These are the roots you can see in the form of beads, isn't it? In the case of beet, the roots are seen there. Therefore, it is known as beaded roots or monoliform root. And example is bitter gourd. In the bitter gourd, we can see such type of roots. I think, my dear children, you would have understood about the adventitious root tubers, isn't it? Now, we can see there are certain roots, that is adventitious roots, which are modified for mechanical supports. Adventitious roots are there which are modified for mechanical support. So, we can see number 1, prop root. These are aerial roots which grow vertically downward. This is aerial roots. You can see vertically downward they are. This is called prop root, isn't it? This is prop root, isn't it? They are the aerial roots. They are growing downward. These roots are called prop root and they provide mechanical support to the plant. And the roots, they look like pillars. Therefore, these are also called pillar roots. As they are seen as pillar, therefore, they are called pillar roots. Example, banyan tree. This is very, very important. In the examination related to prop root, question used to come, you have to study what is prop root and what its function and why it is called pillar roots. Okay, the answer is there in this slide itself. You have to study it, my dear children. It is again important. B. Stilt root. These are aerial adventitious roots which grow obliquely downward from base nodes of the main stem. That is, from the main stem, from its basal nodes, some roots will be arising and they will be growing directly downward into the soil. Such roots are called stilt root. You can see the example, you can see the plant here which is having a root which is being arise from the basal node of the stem, and these roots are called stilt root. Example is in the case of maize, screw pine which is also called pandanus, and the sugar cane. In such plants we can see stilt root. Here you can see this is pandanus, where we can see the roots, or we can say the adventitious roots, they are arising from the basal part of the main stem, and they are growing towards the soil, and they are helping the plant to keep erect by giving additional support. So that is their function. The function is they are giving additional support to the plant. Stilt roots are the aerial adventitious roots which are able to give additional support for the plant to be erect. That is a function of stilt root, my dear children. It is very, very important. And the next one is nematophores. They are also called respiratory roots. These are negatively geotropic, growing away from the gravity. We know that roots used to move towards the soil, therefore they are known as positively geotropic, but in the case of nematophores they are negatively geotropic. That means they are moving away from the gravity. They have minute pores called nematodes, and from these nematodes gaseous exchange is taking place. That is, from the minute pore you can see here in the structure, pores you can see here, isn't it? These are the pores which are called nematodes, and from this nematodes gaseous exchange is taking place, and that is why they are called respiratory roots or nematophores. And the example is Rhizophora avicennia. In the case of plants, Rhizophora and Avicennia. This is the nematophores, or we can say the respiratory roots which are seen above the ground, isn't it? That is why they are negatively geotropic. So this is again very, very important, my dear children. You have to study it. Now that is about the root system. We are entering into the shoot system or the stem. Stem bears branches, leaves, flowers and fruits. Stem also bears nodes and internodes. You can see here near this the leaf which is arising, that part is node, and here also you can see a new leaf is arising, that is node. Between two nodes you can see there is a gap, that is called internode. So what are nodes? The region of stem where leaves are borne are called nodes. So these are nodes. Here we can see the leaves are rising, and the region between two adjacent nodes is termed as internodes. That is, between the two adjacent nodes we can see internodes, isn't it? You can see here again, this is a stem, this is one leaf, this is another leaf, and between two leaf you can see internode. I think you would have understood about nodes and internodes related to stem. Now stem bears buds which may be terminal or axillary. Stem is also bearing the buds which may be terminal or axillary. Here you can see two buds are there. One is apical bud, that is also called terminal bud, and it is seen on the tip or top of the stem. And this is the axillary bud which is seen arising from the near to the leaf. Near to the leaf, if you are seeing a green color bud, that is the axillary bud, and if you are seeing a green color bud on the tip or the top of the stem, that is called apical bud or terminal bud. I think you would have understood what is terminal bud and axillary bud. Now in the case of stem also we can see modifications. The first modification related to stem is underground stem modification, in which we are going to study about rhizome, and the example of rhizome is ginger, turmeric, etc. This is rhizome. This is the example of ginger, and in the case of comb you can see here this is comb. The example is colocasia as well as amorphophallus. Colocasia, amorphophallus are the examples of comb. ginger, turmeric is example of rhizome, and they are coming under underground stem modification. The third one is stem tuber, example is potato, and the fourth one is bulb, example is onion, garlic, etc. So, you can see here rhizome, comb, tuber, potato, and this is the bulb, which is onion, isn't it? So, these are the modifications of stems related to underground stem modification. This number 2 is subaerial stem modification. Weak stem plants that grow prostrate on the ground are called creepers. So, what are creepers? They are weak stem plants and they used to move on the surface of the soil, isn't it? That is why they are weak. They do not have the strength to be erect. That is why they are called weak stemmed plant. You can see here, this is creeper, isn't it? And creepers are of following types. Number 1, it is runner. It is a creeper with long and slender internodes. In between you can see here long slender internodes. So, runner is a creeper which is having long slender internodes. Example is oxalis. Hydrocotyle is another example of runner. Now, B, that is stolon, is a runner which originates from the base of the stem. Example is jasmine, strawberry, mint, etc. In the case of jasmine, strawberry, mint plant, we can see stolon, which is a runner and it is originating from the base of the stem. You can see this one. This is stolon. So, from the stem, main stem, from the base of the main stem, the part is arising, that is called stolon. Okay, I think you would have understood about runner and stolon. And the third one is sucker, is an underground runner that produce aerial shoot. It is an underground runner that produce aerial shoot. Here in this case you can see underground runner from below the soil. You can see this is a runner, isn't it, as it is moving prostrate on the ground and it is producing an aerial shoot. Aerial shoot is being produced, a new plant is being produced here, that is why it is called sucker. And sucker is seen in case of banana, pineapple, etc. The fourth one is offset, is a lateral branch produced in the axils of the leaf. This is offset. In the case of pistia or acornia, we can see offset. These are the leaf like structures which are produced from the axil of the leaf. This is the branch of leaf from which lateral branch is produced there, and that is called offset, and it is seen in pistia or acornia. This is acornia or pistia, which is an aquatic plant. So, in the case of aquatic plant, we can see the modification as offset. I think you would have understood about offset, my dear children. It is very, very important. You have to study it. The third modification is the aerial stem modification. In this, number 1 is stem tendril. And what are tendrils? Tendrils are slender, thin, wiry, spirally coiled structures. These are slender, thin, wiry, wire shaped structure, and they are spirally coiled. You can see they are spirally coiled. They are called tendrils. Example is gourd, or in the case of grapevine, we can see grapevine plant or grape plants, we can see the coiled structure. So, grape plant is the example of stem tendril. Now, second one or B is the thorns. They are hard, straight, pointed structures. You can see here in the case of citrus, that is the lemon plant. When we see the lemon plant, we can see a hard, straight, pointed structure in that plant, and that is called thorn. Example, citrus. So, this is again important, my dear children. You have to study it. C is phylloclade. These are green, flattened or fleshy cylindrical structures which perform the function of photosynthesis. They are green, you can see flattened, this is a flattened structure, and they are fleshy cylindrical structures which performs the function of photosynthesis. These are green in color, and that is why they are able to perform photosynthesis. They can prepare their own food, and these plants we can see in the desert area, isn't it? And the example is Opuntia euphorbia. Opuntia is cactus, euphorbia is another type of cactus. The fourth one is cladode, is a phylloclade. So, cladode is a phylloclade, and what is phylloclade? It is green, flattened, fleshy cylindrical structure. So, it is a phylloclade with one or two internodes. We know that what is internodes. So, in the case of cladode, we can see internodes, isn't it? Here you can see internode, isn't it? So, in the case of cladode, this is cladode, this is cladode. The example is Ruscus as well as asparagus. In the case of Ruscus and asparagus, we can see one or two internodes, that is cladode. So, you would have understood about phylloclade and cladode. You would have understood about the difference between phylloclade and cladode. Cladode is a phylloclade, okay, and it is having one or two internodes. I think you would have understood about it, my dear children. Now, figures related to aerial stem modification, you can see number 1 we have studied about the stem tendril. You can see stem tendril, isn't it? Then we have studied about thorns. You can see here thorns, and then you would have studied about phylloclade. This is phylloclade, isn't it? This is phylloclade. And next we studied about cladode. Okay. So, the another one more information related to the aerial stem modification is the bulbil. You can see here, isn't it? This is bulbil. This is the leaf, and in the stem you can see bulbil, swollen part, that is called bulbil. So, that is related to aerial stem modification. I think you would have understood about the structure of root and its modification, as well as you have understood about the structure of stem and its modification. It is very important, my dear children. You have to study it, because in the question paper related to root stem structure as well as its modification used to come. So, by this I am winding the session, and we will be meeting in the next session. Till then, my dear children, be safe and stay healthy. Take care.